we've been robbed of at least 8 centimeters of Yamato Nadeshiko. Since the release of Global, there has been growing discussion on the physical parameters of Uma Musume. We've all seen the videos, the tier lists, the rankings, but I'm here to tell you that all of this is misleading at best. If we want to truly understand the physique of Uma Musume, then we have to dig deeper, beyond just surface level comparisons of BWH measurements. Let's take for example Shinko Windy and Hisshi Akebono. Both have a hip measurement of 88 centimeters, which means that they should have the same size butt, right? Wrong. You see, Shinko Windy is a rather reasonable 152 centimeters tall, while Hisshi Akebono is a comparatively giant 180 centimeters. This means that in proportion to her overall size, Shinko Windy has a much bigger butt. I feel as though that this should be reflected in our considerations. After all, the alternative is that we nerf short stacks, and I think we can all agree that that is completely unacceptable. What I propose instead is to take all of the characters, plot the hip measurement versus the height, and firstly derive a fit to this data. Loosely speaking, this line represents the average size hip at a given height. We can then look at how far a girl is from this line, a value known as the residual, which then tells us in centimeters how much bigger or smaller her hip measurement is compared with the average for her height. Here we have the top 10 in terms of raw hip measurements, as well as the top 10 in terms of residuals. Firstly, looking at relegations and promotions, we can see that Taiki Shuttle, Hisshi Akebono and Maruzensky have been kicked out of the top 10. Meanwhile on the other side, Kawakami Princess, Vivlos and Grass Wonder have been promoted. In terms of the top 3, Super Creek has been demoted to 7th place, and Mejuro Romano to 6th. On the other hand, our top 3 in residuals include Shinko Windy from 8th place previously, Hisshi Miracle from 10th, and the newly promoted Kawakami Princess. You should note that this isn't reflected in the game. Let's take Grass Wonder and Tokai Teo as examples. Both have similar heights of around 150 centimeters, while Tokai Teo has a relatively average 76 centimeters of hip. Grass Wonder measures in at 84 centimeters. Measuring the models in Blender, we can see that unfortunately this isn't reflected in game. They are both pretty much exactly the same size and both smaller than the stated measurements in the wiki. While I understand why it has to be this way for practical reasons, I still think it's a tragedy.